Hello, STAT students, and welcome to Unit 7. In this unit, we're talking about hypothesis testing. So, in section 10.1, we're going to get into the basics of what a hypothesis is, what a hypothesis test is, and what we can kind of expect, and what the purpose is. So, let's get started. A hypothesis is a claim or statement about the value of a single population characteristic. Or the values of several population characteristics. A test of hypotheses is a method that uses sample data to decide between two competing claims or hypotheses about a population characteristic. Okay, so if it were possible in a perfect world, we would carry out a census. And this would be looking at the entire population. Then we would definitely 100% know and be able to decide which of the two hypotheses is correct. But usually we have to decide between them using sample information because getting a census is really hard. All right, let's talk about the null and the alternate hypotheses. These are really, really important. The null hypothesis has notation capital H with a subscript little o. And this is called the null hypothesis. This is a claim about a population characteristic that we initially assume is true. Okay. The alternate hypothesis has notation capital H with a little subscript a, and this is any competing claim. So basically in a hypothesis test, what we're doing is we're making an initial claim, we come up with an alternate or competing claim, and we want to make some conclusion about the entire population. And in order to do that, we look at a single sample and we see what information that sample provides so we can determine which claim is the most appropriate. When carrying out a test of the null versus the alternate hypothesis, the null will be rejected in favor of the alternate only if sample evidence strongly suggests that the null is false. If the sample does not provide enough evidence, then the null will not be rejected. So basically, our two possible outcomes of a test are either to reject or fail to reject the null. So basically, we're gathering data in support of the null, and if there is not enough, then we will favor an alternate hypothesis. Now, in no way does this mean that the null is true or the alternate is true. It just means that based off the sample and based off the data that we've seen and collected, there's more evidence to support one or the other. When we are writing null and alternate hypotheses, when we are writing null and alternate hypotheses, we've got some specific structure. So let's check that out. The null hypothesis is always written H naught, H subscript little o, and then you list that population characteristic. And so that's going to be mu if it's numeric data, or pi if it's categorical. And the null is always, always, always set equal to a hypothesized value. Okay, now with the alternate, this is a competing claim with that null hypothesis. So H sub A, I always have my same population characteristic, mu for numeric and pi for categorical. And I have three options. Either I'm saying that the alternate is that the value is less than the hypothesized value, it's greater than, or I don't know if it's less or greater, I just know it is not equal to. Later on, this is going to become really important when we do hypothesis testing. That's pretty much it for our basic introduction of hypothesis tests. What's important to take away is that we've got a null hypothesis in this structure, an alternate in this structure, and what we're doing is we are basically gathering information to determine between two competing claims which one has more support, and we have two options from a hypothesis test, which is to reject or fail to reject our original claim. Okay, so that's that, and I'll see you guys next lesson. Bye!